former counselor of President Trump, host of Here's the Deal on Fox Nation and a Fox News contributor. Kellyanne, you know, plagiarizing, copycatting. I'm really a centrist. You may have heard Peter Doocy said the White House is saying she's going to be tough on the border. She's really not for the fracking ban. Well, of course, the whole policy of the administration was a fracking ban to begin with. I mean, I guess, what do you think of it? But basically, is she going to get away with it? That's the question.
I was just going to say, she may actually get away with it, Larry, if she's never forced to actually answer a question in an interview like this. She's afraid of a Fox News debate, of all things. And as she introduces herself for the first time to many of those adoring fans in those rallies, they may believe her. But I think Trump has the best opportunity here of all, because he's the guy who signed into law the Tax Cut and Jobs Act at the end of 2017. And he should remind us all what that did and what will happen if it's not extended, if it expires next year, which Kamala wants it to do. This ended corporate inversions. This resulted in 100% deductions for so many of our businesses and capital investments like real estate and machinery. It doubled the personal exemption. It doubled the child tax credit. It repatriated $2.5 trillion in wealth that was parked legally overseas. It reduced our corporate tax from 35% to 21%. The list goes on and on. Why does that matter to you and me? It matters to the 61 million people who live in roughly the 7 swing states. And it matters to them because in those 7 swing states, especially in the state of Nevada, where she lied about being against taxes for tips. She's for taxes for everything, by the way. If it doesn't move, actually, if it does move, she's for legislating, regulating, and taxing it. Everyone knows that. But Larry, 61 million people in those 7 swing states, the economies have been slow to recover from the pandemic. Nevada, most of all, the housing costs are up, the foreclosures are up. That one company town really hasn't made it all the way back. Now, Kamala's looking at the polling in Nevada and seeing Trump is really at about 50% in all the polls against Biden and now against her. It's a state that hasn't gone Republican presidentially since 2004. It is the only state where we went from a Democrat governor to a Republican governor in 2022. And there's a hot Senate race there this year, too, with Sam Brown. So I think Trump's really making a big play for the 6 electoral votes in Nevada. And you've got Kamala on her heels, lying that she's against taxing tips. If she's not for taxing tips, I want her to come forward and say on the tarmac or in one of these interviews, I'll give her this seat gladly. I'm sure you'll take her for the whole hour, Larry. I want her to say, I'm going to expand the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, because look at all the growth, look at all the flourishing, look at the wage growth, look at the low unemployment numbers after that. Look at the fact that the corporations invested in their people, in research and development, in innovation, in their product lines. And she should be for that. The other thing is, we're at the 2nd anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act. I want her to pull a Joe Manchin and disavow her support for it. And say we raided Medicare to pay for migrants and electric vehicles. We increased IRS agents. Did no such thing as reduce inflation.
Or just repeal the Treasury IRS order. I mean,
there you go. Perfect.
Look, last time I looked, I mean, I've served a couple times in government, so have you. The IRS is part of the Treasury, and the Treasury is part of the executive branch, which is run by Mr. Biden and Ms. Harris. So therefore, they could repeal this rule anytime they want, and they won't do it, which undercuts. But here's the big point. Big point. Question for you. Mr. Trump has got to hammer away on what he did and why she wouldn't do it. In other words, all these things are kind of a gift. I mean, Tim Walz of Minnesota is a socialist gift, okay? These flip-flops and plagiarisms and so forth, they're little gifts, but he has to turn them into important gifts. He has to hammer away, does he not? I mean, that's what he... Don't wander off. Don't call her stupid and all kinds of names. Stay on message.
The winning formula for President Trump is very plain to see. It's fewer insults, more insights, and that policy contrast. He's got that hunger, swagger, underdog, underestimated of 2016 back, Larry, and you overlay that with the 4-year presidential record where we did have growth, we did have wage growth, we had low unemployment, the whole 9 that you and I know. And tax and spend, I know they call him Tampon Tim, but I call him Tax and Spend Tim in Minnesota. He's proud of it. He'll brag to you about taxing and spending there, and she's been no better. So if President Trump would just contrast the policies, he'll win, because he has a 2-to-1 advantage over Biden and Harris on the economy and inflation, on the border, on Israel, Hamas, on the key issues that are important to people. I don't even hear Harris talking as much about abortion anymore, because she knows if she's running as the nominee, she's got to even backtrack there a little bit and try to look like she's some kind of domestic economy steward and foreign policy genius that's been hiding for 3.5 years. Larry, you and I have talked since President Trump left office. We're going to talk about it again today. It's the policy contrast. And all President Trump has to do, even with Elon Musk tonight in that interview, all he has to do is say, look, Elon, everyone who's listening knows that Kamala Harris and Democrats say they don't like me, they don't want me in, they don't agree with anything I'm for. Everyone knows what I'm for. I'm for border security. I'm for lower taxes, fewer regulations, more energy, independence, drill, baby, drill. I'm for ending the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. I'm the one who had Iran flat on its heels. So he should say all of that and say, so if you know what I'm for, you know what they're against.
You know what?
And then you've got that contrast.
No, on that point, that's a key point. He can not only say, you know what I'm for, because I did it once before, okay? Here's my point about Kamala on this baloney, for example, no taxes on tips and so forth. Okay, if you're again, why didn't you do it? You had a chance to do it, but you didn't do it. Mr. Trump actually did it, which is why he is legit and she is not. Now, here's a good one. I mean, again, I think personal insults to her is not a good idea. Really, not a good idea. It's a distraction. It's unnecessary. It's off message. Now, here's Mr. Trump in Bozeman, Montana, a couple days ago, where he is on message. Take a listen to this tape.
We will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. I will terminate the Green New Scam, deliver historic regulation cuts, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day one. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips.
Now, Kellyanne,
it's great.
That is music to my ears. That is Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, all rolled into one. It's the greatest thing. Throw in the Beatles, throw in everybody. I'm just saying, why, if he just keeps doing that and keep doing that and maybe jive a little off of that, that's just terrific stuff. Stop with the personal stuff and then just nail her on this, because he did it. He's already done it.
He did it. You know what, Larry? Here's the difference. He produced She's Promising. That's the difference.
Right.
And she's already there. She even did it last week. She said, when I'm president, I'm going to grow the economy. It's like, you're vice president now. You're kind of the president. Do it now. By the way, last point, Larry, if she wants to imitate and plagiarize Donald Trump, here's some advice, Kamala. Do what he does vis-a-vis the media. This guy gives interviews. He goes on podcasts. He goes on networks and cable stations. He's on the radio. He's truth socialing. In other words, truthing. In other words, she is yet to face the media. And to face the media is to face the candidate, is to face the voters. That's how the democratization of information, where everybody gets to see what a presidential candidate believes and thinks all at the same time. She's hiding from the camera. She's doing the Biden in the basis strategy right in front of our eyes, up on stages, in front of a podium and a teleprompter, right in front of our eyes. It just doesn't look that way. So if she wants to mimic him one more time, be like Trump and go face the media and answer these questions.
You know, I would think she says this. She's plagiarizing, no taxes on. At least she can footnote it. If she'd have a footnote, i.e., same as Donald Trump, that would have been much nicer. Then she could have kept tenure at her college or university or wherever it was. But not even a footnote, Kellyanne. Can you imagine that?
Not even.
All right. Kellyanne Conway, the best of the best. Don't forget, please watch Here's the Deal with Kellyanne on Fox Nation. It's terrific stuff.